What's up, everybody? Today we are going to be installing something here on the CanAm back behind me, 2018 X3 Max. Now, it has been a crazy winter around here. We have not gotten to do much riding at all because there's just been so much snow. Most of the trails around here are pretty much set up for snowmobiles anyway, so we wouldn't be able to take the wheeled machines out. However, there are places that we're going to be getting out into, and having a little bit of extra protection is going to make a big difference. So, we're going to take a look at what's in this box, throw it on, see how it looks, see how it works, and talk about everything that you need to truly do winter riding. All right, so let's kind of work through this a little bit just so you have an idea of everything that you're gonna need in order to really enclose the cab on your CanAm X3 Max or your CanAm X3 or really any other machine out there. So in order to do this and totally be secure and try to get as much heat and warmth and protection as possible, you've got to get the lower doors. Those are available from Kemimoto. Like I said, we had those installed on both machines. They're great. They fit just like the BRP ones. You need a full roof. So if you're buying a brand new rig, they come with nothing. So you're going to have to buy the lower doors. You're going to need to get this enclosure. You're going to need to get a rear windscreen. You're going to need to get a front windscreen. So there's a lot that has to go into it. By the time that it's all said and done, if you fully enclose your X3 Max, you're going to be probably around $2,000, maybe $2,500. $500 for a windshield, $500 for a roof, almost $500 for the upper enclosure. The lower doors, $350 or so. So there's a lot that goes into it, and that's not even adding heaters or anything else like that. Now, if you really wanted to go with the ultimate machine for the wintertime, then you would obviously put tracks on. That's another $7,000. So by the time you build one of these out to be a true winter rider, you're 10 grand into just accessories. What we're gonna be looking at inside this box is the upper door enclosure for the X3 Max. Now, this is it. This is 2 full door panels on each side. And, you know, overall, this whole thing should be pretty simple. We've got 1 page worth of instructions right here. You know, kind of a small package. This is soft. We've got like that soft plexi kind of vinyl for the windows. And then the way this works is it should all be just Velcro. So we're gonna throw it on there, take a look at it, and kind of see if any of these other accessories that are already here are gonna be okay. Now, real quick, both of these cars here have kind of a lot of Kemimoto parts on it. We've got door bags on both of them. We have the tablet holders on both of them, belt bag, different things like that. The lower doors even, that's part of that. Let's keep going with this thing. Here's our instructions. Really not a whole lot to it. You can see we're pretty much just Velcroing everything on, so this installation should be pretty dang quick. And, you know, it looks like as far as functionality goes, all we're really needing to do to use the doors is to unzip, open the door, close the door, zip back up if we want to stay enclosed. Now, I'm using this in particular for this winter riding, cold conditions, having not put a heater or anything else like that in the cab. But if you're out running a lot, you guys should know that you're going to get some heat coming through the floorboards just from the way the radiators run. And if everything is enclosed pretty well, then that'll just make riding a bit easier. Now, for some of you, you go freeform, no windshield, no roof, no nothing. You just goggles, helmets, you know, beef up like you're going on a snowmobile. But, you know, not everybody likes that. So again, we'll go through every single part in order to sort of enclose a machine and make it more comfortable. But let's go ahead and get these doors installed. You know, right out of the gate, actually, these things feel pretty strong. They're actually gonna look, I think this is gonna be pretty durable. So, you can see I'm gonna hold this upside down, it looks like. This is gonna go this way. These are Velcro strips that are gonna come off. So we'll get this kind of set into place up there, strap it in real quick and get a look at it. So the one thing I was kind of wondering about on this is if I was gonna be able to leave the mirrors on. And I think there's probably enough play to make that happen because, you know, having to take off a whole bunch of stuff in order to make this work would be, you know, a little bit of a pain. But I think we're going to be able to do it. So part of this I'm going to try to do from the outside of the vehicle, and then we'll move the camera over to the other side and see if I can show you kind of how to do everything from the inside. But obviously there's nothing to it. I'm going to go ahead and throw a few of these straps on real quick so it kind of holds in place. and then we'll move over to the other side. But, you know, with all these extra accessories, roof rack, all that stuff, it's going to be just a slightly bit more challenging than if the thing was just open. So, well, it can work with the mirrors. I think this is going to be fine to do this right now. I think typically you'd want to take these off if you do have mirrors on yours, but it will work. So we're just going to kind of set it like that, and I'll kind of get to the point where I'll be able to open this in a second. I'm going to get one more strap put in here, and then I'll work my way down the back. You are going to have hampered vision with the mirrors on, just looking through the vinyl plexiglass material. So I would say take them off if you do it. All right, so let's pop over to the other side, take a look. Well, so far, it's a little cold out, so some of this double-sided Velcro that it came with is really gonna have a hard time sticking. That's something I'm probably actually gonna have to fix a little bit later. Okay. Let's go ahead. Zip this bad boy back up. Okay, so sitting in here, this is basically all that would have to happen now. There's a big two-sided Velcro strip across the lower part right here. This is what's going to stick to the door just here. Now, as I said before, just because it's so cold, if I go ahead and pull that strip off right now, it's not going to stick. It's too cold to stick to the plastic. So I'm going to actually wait to do that part. And since I already have everything strapped in here the way that it's supposed to go, aside from this one right here, which I missed, there's a couple that go around the lower part of the pillars. So let's get those on. The thing actually feels, you know, pretty nice, really. I would love to get this thing totally stuck, but let's just go ahead and do the other side. We'll get a quick look at everything so you can see it, and then we'll talk a little bit more about everything needed to enclose your machine for wintertime riding, okay? One thing that came to mind as I was doing everything and putting this install on is that some plastic material, like plastic windshields and things like that, can scratch if you don't take care of them properly, and that could potentially happen with this material as well, but I won't know that until a bit later, after it's been put through its paces, run through the dust, run through the mud, been washed, and sort of abused. But overall, it seems like pretty rugged material, and I think it'll last a long time. All right, guys, so there you have it. So this is something that would be way better if you had a friend or somebody to help you get these things on, just so you could have somebody sitting on the inside as well, and kind of feeding you the straps back through. Now, as I said before, I can't stick this double-sided Velcro, but if you look here, see all of this lines up perfectly. It'll stick to the door, and that's your lower section to give it support. Now, to go in and out, you're opening these, then opening the door, then closing them back. That's just the way it's going to work. There's no other way around it. That's totally fine. It's actually, the zippers work really well. I mean, this is without being strapped down. Now, when you open these, and again, I can't really do it right now because it's not fully attached to the door. This zips open, you roll it, comes with these straps, and you can leave the windows down. You don't always have to have this thing fully enclosed. However, I can see a lot of benefits of that. Although, you know, if you're going to get out in the heat, you're going to do some desert riding and things like that, it might not be the most beneficial to have all of this on here. But around here, especially high elevation, it can still get pretty cold. Keeping this on is going to make kind of a big difference just from the wind and, you know, keeping the inhabitants and the passengers dry. With the amount of times that we actually go out in the wintertime and in the snow here, it really isn't all that often, but we will get out to places that do get cold a little bit later. Coming into next month in February, we'll be able to get out into some mud and some different areas like that and play a little bit more. And that's when something like this enclosure really comes into play. So you need to know that just going into it, you've got to shut everything in, or there's really no point to putting the upper enclosure in. So if you look down below, you can take a look down at the links I provided. There's links to the lower doors, to the upper enclosure, to the roof, to a windshield, to a rear windscreen. It basically outline everything that you would need to kind of seal yourself in from the environment and make your colder weather or wet weather riding enjoyable. So that's all I got for today. I hope you guys are having a great winter, and I look forward to getting out and seeing you on the trail soon. See ya.